The transport ship Stellar Wind docked at Galactic Defense Academy Station Omega-7 with a soft hiss. Through the thick metal doors, Hannah could hear voices speaking in dozens of alien languages. Her heart beat fast as she picked up her small bag and walked toward the exit. At 18 years old, Hannah was the youngest cadet ever accepted into the academy. She was also the smallest. At 5 feet tall and weighing barely 100 pounds, she looked like a child next to the other passengers leaving the ship. The docking bay was huge, ceilings stretched so high that Hannah had to tilt her head back to see the top. Hundreds of beings moved around her. Some walked on 2 legs like humans. Others had 4 legs, or 6, or moved on tentacles. The noise was incredible. Another human? A deep voice rumbled behind her. Hannah turned around and looked up, way up. The creature standing behind her was at least 8 feet tall. Its skin was green and covered with thick scales that looked like armor. Yellow eyes stared down at her with what looked like disgust. "I am Torval of the Virak," the creature said. "You are very small for a warrior." "I'm Hannah," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "Nice to meet you." Torval made a sound that might have been laughter. "Nice to meet me, little human. Do you know where you are? This is the Galactic Defense Academy. Only the strongest warriors from across the galaxy come here. The weak ones don't survive the first week." Other cadets began gathering around them. Hannah saw a massive, bear-like creature with claws as long as her fingers. Its fur was black and its eyes were red. Next to it stood a graceful cat-like being with silver fur and muscles that moved like water under its skin. "Look at this," the bear creature said. "They sent us a baby human. I heard humans were weak," said the cat being. "Like she would break if I touched her." More aliens joined the crowd. Hannah counted at least 20 different species. All of them were bigger than her. All of them looked like they were built for fighting. All of them were staring at her like she was some kind of joke. "What's your name, little bear?" asked the cat being.
Us.
"I'm Grim," the bear creature replied. "Thraken warrior from the ice worlds. And you, Silver One?" "Solara of the Colony," the cat being said. "I have killed more enemies than you have seen winters." They all looked at Hannah again. She felt her face getting hot, but she kept her back straight. "And what about you, small human?" Torval asked. "What have you killed?" "Nothing," Hannah said quietly. "I've never killed anything." The crowd erupted in laughter. The sound echoed off the metal walls like thunder. "Never killed anything?" Grim roared. "Then why are you here? This is a military academy, not a school for children." "I passed the tests," Hannah said. "All of them tests?" Solara moved closer. Her golden eyes were cold. "You mean the thinking? Tests, the ones with numbers and puzzles? Those are for weaklings who can't fight." "I got the highest score in academy history," Hannah said. The laughter stopped. The aliens looked at each other with confusion. "Possible," Torval said. "No one has ever scored higher than Virak war leaders." "Check your data pad," Hannah said simply. Torval pulled out a flat device and tapped it several times. His yellow eyes grew wide. He tapped it again, then showed it to Grim and Solara. "It's true," he whispered. "Perfect scores on all theoretical combat assessments. Perfect scores on tactical planning. Perfect scores on weapons theory." "Look at her," Solara said. "She has no claws, no fangs, no natural armor. Her muscles are tiny. How can something so weak understand combat?" "Maybe humans are smarter than we thought," said a new voice. Everyone turned to see 3 more humans walking toward them. The first was a young man with broad shoulders and confident eyes. Behind him walked another man with quick movements and alert expressions. The third was a woman with short black hair and steady hands. "I'm Park Jiwon," the first man said. "These are Kim Do-yen and Yusora. We're also new cadets." The aliens looked at the 3 newcomers with more respect. Jiwon was tall and strong-looking. Do-yen moved like a fighter. Sora had scars on her hands that spoke of hard training. "At least these humans look like they can fight," Grim said. "Not like the small one." "Her name is Hannah," Jiwon said firmly, "and you shouldn't judge by size alone." "Why not?" Torval asked. "In combat, size and strength matter most. Speed matters. Natural weapons matter. Your friend has none of these things." 4. anyone could answer. A loud horn blew 3 times. The sound was so deep and powerful that Hannah felt it in her chest. All new cadets report to Training Hall 7, a voice announced over the station speakers. Orientation begins in 10 minutes. Crowd of aliens began moving toward a set of large doors. Hannah walked with the other humans, trying to ignore the stares and whispers following them. Training Hall 7 was enormous. The floor was made of some kind of soft material that felt like rubber under their feet. The walls were covered with weapons from dozens of worlds. At the front of the room stood a massive Virak, wearing the uniform of an instructor. "I am Instructor Vexstar," the creature announced. His voice carried easily across the huge room. "For the next 4 years, I will decide if you live or die. Some of you will become great warriors. Others will wash out and go home in shame. A few of you will not go home at all." He looked directly at Hannah when he said the last part. "Tomorrow morning, we begin with combat assessments," Vexstar continued. "You will fight hand-to-hand against other cadets. No weapons, no armor, just your natural abilities against theirs." The alien cadets began talking excitedly among themselves. Hannah heard several of them making bets about how quickly she would be eliminated. "I expect most of you to show what your species is capable of," Vexstar said. Virak strength, Thraken ferocity, Kalani speed. As for the humans, he paused and looked at the 4 of them standing together. "We'll see what you're made of." As the cadets filed out of the hall, Hannah overheard Torval talking to his friends. "I volunteer to fight the small human first," he said. "It will be over in seconds. Don't kill her too quickly," Solera added. "Let her learn why the galaxy belongs to the strong." Hannah said nothing. She just walked back to her assigned quarters and prepared for the next day. Tomorrow, she would show them exactly what humans were capable of. She had a feeling they were going to be very surprised. The next morning came too quickly for Hannah. She woke up before dawn and did her usual exercises in her small room. Push-ups, sit-ups, and stretching. The same routine she had done every day for 10 years. When she arrived at Training Hall 7, hundreds of cadets were already there. The hall looked different now. The soft floor had been replaced with a hard white surface that gleamed under the bright lights. In the center was a large circle marked with glowing lines. "That's the combat ring," said Park Jiwon, walking up beside her. "I heard it can change to match any environment. Ice world, desert, jungle, ice world, even underwater. Have you ever fought aliens?" "Before?" Hannah asked. Jiwon shook his head. "Only other humans. But I've studied their fighting styles. Virak use their size and strength. Thraken go crazy and attack with claws and teeth. Kalani are fast and precise." "What about us?" Hannah asked. "What do humans do?" "We adapt," said Yusora, joining them. "That's what we're good at. We watch, we learn, we find weaknesses." Kim Do-yeon nodded. "My grandfather always said humans are like water. We flow around obstacles instead of trying to break through them." Instructor Vexstar entered the hall. His heavy footsteps echoed across. The room behind him walked several other instructors from different species. "Today you will show us what you can do," Vexstar announced. "Each cadet will fight in the ring. You will be matched against opponents of similar experience levels. The fights continue until one fighter cannot continue." He pointed to the glowing circle. "The ring will record everything: speed, strength, technique, and results. Your performance. Today will determine your training groups for the next 4 years. The first fight began immediately. 2 Virak cadets entered the ring. They were both huge, covered in thick scales, and moved like walking tanks. The fight was brutal, but short. One Virak used his superior size to pin the other down and win. Next came to Thraken. They fought like wild animals, roaring and slashing with their claws. The crowd cheered as they rolled around the ring, trying to bite each other's throats. Finally, one managed to get on top and force the other to submit. Then 2 Kalani fought. Their battle was completely different. They moved so fast that Hannah could barely follow their movements. It looked like a deadly dance. It jumped, spun, and struck with lightning speed. The fight ended when one Kalani landed a perfect kick that sent the other flying out of the ring. Impressive, Vextar said. Let's see what the other species can do. Several more fights followed. Each species showed their natural advantages. The insect-like Zephyrians used their forearms to overwhelm opponents. The rock-like granite people simply stood still and let their enemies hurt themselves, trying to damage their stone skin. Next, Vextar called out, "We will test the humans." The hall went quiet. Every eye turned toward the 4 humans standing. Together, Park Juan Vextar said, "You will fight Korvac of the Virak?" Juan stepped into the ring. He was tall for a human, but he looked tiny next to Korvac. The Virak was 8 feet tall and weighed at least 400 pounds. His scales were so thick they looked like armor. "This should be quick," someone in the crowd said. The fight began. Korvac charged forward like a bull, trying to grab Jiwan with his massive hands. But Jiwan was ready. He ducked under the Virak's arms and struck at his knees. Korvac stumbled but didn't fall. The Virak swung his fist at Jiwan's head. If it had connected, it would have killed him. Instead, Jiwan moved just enough to let the punch miss by inches. He grabbed Korvac's arm and used the Virak's own momentum to throw him to the ground. The crowd gasped. No one had ever seen a Virak thrown before. Korvac got up, angry now. He charged again, but Jiwan was like smoke. Every attack missed. Every time Korvac tried to use his strength, Guan turned it against him. Finally, Guan managed to get behind the Virak and put him in a chokehold. Korvac struggled for a few seconds, then tapped out. The hall was silent. A human had just defeated a Virak, using nothing but skill and technique. "Interesting," Vextar said. Next fight. Kim Do-yeon versus Razor of the Thraken. Do-yeon's fight was even more impressive. Razor was a massive, bear-like creature with claws like knives and teeth like daggers. He attacked with pure animal fury, trying to tear Do-yeon apart. But Do-yeon fought like he was dancing. He moved around Razor's attacks, striking at pressure points and joints. Every hit was precise and perfectly timed. Within minutes, Razor was limping and confused. A final strike to the neck put him down. Sora versus Whisper of the Kalani, Vextar announced. This fight was the most amazing yet. Whisper was incredibly fast, but Sora seemed to know where she was going to be before she got there. It was like Sora could read her opponent's mind. The Kalani's speed meant nothing if she couldn't hit her target. Sora won when she caught Whisper's wrist mid-attack and used a joint lock to force her to submit. The crowd was buzzing now. 3 humans had just defeated 3 apex predators. Aliens were looking at the remaining human with new eyes. Finally, Vextar said, Lihana versus Korath of the Thraken. Hana walked into the ring. Korath was even bigger than Razor. He was 9 feet tall and covered in black fur. His red eyes burned with hatred and bloodlust. His claws were longer than Hana's fingers. "I'm going to enjoy this," Korath growled. "I've never killed a human." Before the crowd was on its feet, even the other instructors moved closer to get a better view. Everyone wanted to see what the smallest cadet could do, again Vextar said. Korath charged immediately. He was incredibly fast for something so big. His claws swept toward Hana's head, ready to tear it off. But Hana didn't run. She didn't dodge. She stepped forward directly into Korath's path. Time seemed to slow down. Korath's eyes went wide as he realized what was happening. The small human was coming right at him. Hana's right hand moved in a simple motion, basic palm strike that any human martial artist would recognize. Her hand connected with Korath's chest. Just below his heart, the impact was like thunder. A shock wave spread out from the point of contact. The sound echoed through the hall like a gunshot. Korath's eyes rolled back in his head. Massive body flew backward through the air, as if he had been hit by a cannon. He slammed into the wall 20 feet away. The reinforced metal bent inward from the impact. Korath slid down the wall and didn't move. The entire hall was silent. Not a single being made a sound. Even the instructors had stopped breathing. Hana stood in the center of the ring, her hand still extended. She looked completely calm, as if throwing a 9-foot killing machine across the room was the most natural thing in the world. Medical team to the ring, Vexstar said quietly. His voice was shaking. The medical team rushed to Korath. They checked his pulse, his breathing, his bones. After several minutes, they looked up at Vexstar and nodded. Korath was alive, but barely every eye in the hall turned to look at Hannah, the small human girl who had just done something impossible. How? Whispered Torval. How did she do that? No one had an answer. They just stared at the 18-year-old human who had just changed everything they thought they knew about combat, about strength, and about what it meant to be a predator. In the medical bay, Korath was still unconscious. The doctors said he had 3 broken ribs, internal bleeding, and a concussion. All from a single blow by a creature half his size. The age of underestimating humans was over. Dr. Zelina had been a doctor for 30 years. She had treated wounded soldiers from every major war in the galaxy. She had seen Virok warriors with their scales torn off, Thraken berserkers with missing limbs, and Kalani assassins with broken bones. But she had never seen anything like Korath. The massive Thraken lay unconscious on the medical table. His chest rose and fell slowly. 3 of his ribs were broken. His lung was bleeding inside his body. His brain was swollen from the impact. This doesn't make sense, Dr. Zelina said to her assistant. Look at these scans, the assistant, a young Kalani named Tycho, studied the images on the screen. The damage is incredible. What kind of weapon could do this? No weapon, Dr. Zelina said quietly. A single punch from a human girl who weighs less than 100 pounds. Tycho's ears flattened against his head. Impossible. The physics don't work. A creature that small cannot generate this much force. Dr. Zelina was thinking the same thing. She had run the calculations 3 times. According to everything they knew about biology and physics, what happened in the ring was impossible. Call Commander Thasal, she said. He needs to see this. While the medical team worked on Korath, news of the fight spread through the station like wildfire. In the dormitories, alien cadets whispered to each other in fear and confusion. Did you see how far she threw him? Asked a Virak cadet named Gorvak. It's not natural, replied his roommate. Humans are supposed to be weak. That's what all the reports say. Maybe the reports are wrong, Gorvak said slowly. In another room, a group of Kalani were having a similar conversation. She moved like one of us, said Vera, a silver-furred female. But she hit like a granite person. Harder than a granite person, corrected her friend Kess. I've seen them fight. They can't throw someone 20 feet. Then what are humans really? Like Vera asked? No one had an answer. Meanwhile, in the Academy's main office, Commander Lexal was having an emergency meeting with the other senior instructors. The commander was old, even by Virak standards. He had fought in wars across the galaxy and thought he had seen everything. Show me the recording again, he said. Instructor Vexstar played the fight video on the large screen. They watched as tiny Hannah stepped forward and struck Korath. They watched the massive Thraken fly through the air and hit the wall. Slow it down, Commander, Vexal said. I want to see exactly what she did. The video played in slow motion. Hannah's movement was simple and clean. A basic palm strike that any beginner could learn. But the result was devastating. There's something we're missing, said Instructor Kelly, a Kalani combat specialist. This girl isn't using any special technique, it's just a simple strike. Then, how is she generating so much power? Asked Instructor Morden, a Thraken weapons expert. Commander Vexal was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned to his computer and began typing. What are you doing? Vexstar asked. Looking up Earth, the commander replied. The human homeworld. We have classification files on every species in the Academy, but I've never actually read the human file. The screen filled with information about Earth. As Commander Vexal read, his expression changed. His yellow eyes grew wider. His breathing became faster. By the ancient gods, he whispered. What is it? Kelly asked. Earth is classified as a Class X death world, the commander said slowly. The highest danger rating possible. The other instructors looked at each other. They had heard of death worlds before. Planets where everything was designed to kill everything else. Most species that evolved on such worlds were extinct. That's impossible, Morden said.
Yeah, humans are.
obviously alive. How did they survive? Commander the Sol kept reading. It says here that Earth has gravity 1.3 times galactic standard. The weather is extreme and unpredictable. The planet is covered with predators. Even the plants are dangerous. And humans evolved there? Vexstar asked. Not just evolved, the commander said. They became the dominant species. They killed off most of the other large predators. They survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and meteor strikes. They didn't just live on their death world. They conquered it. The room was silent. Everyone was thinking the same thing. Humans could survive? On a world like that, what did that make them? There's more, Commander Dexol continued. Humans don't have natural armor like us. They don't have claws or fangs. They don't have enhanced speed or strength. Instead, they developed something else. What? Kelly asked. Intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to turn their entire body into a weapon. The commander pulled up more files. Look at this. Humans have something called martial arts. They've been perfecting combat techniques for thousands of years. They can generate incredible force by using leverage, momentum, and precise targeting. And that's what the girl did, Vexstar said slowly. She used her whole body to deliver that strike, not just her hand, and she aimed for the perfect spot, Kelly added. If she had hit him anywhere else, it wouldn't have worked. Commander the Sol stood up from his chair. Gentlemen, I think we have greatly underestimated the human species. We've been measuring them by our standards. Size, strength, natural weapons. But they don't fight like us. They fight smarter. In the medical bay, Korath was finally waking. Up. He tried to sit up, but groaned in pain.
Ouch!
Don't move, Dr. Zelina said. You have serious injuries. What happened? Korath asked weakly. You fought a human, Dr. Zelina replied, and lost. Korath's eyes widened. Impossible. I am a Thraken warrior. I have killed enemies twice my size. This human was half your size, Dr. Zelina said. And she put you in the hospital with one punch. Korath tried to process this information. In his culture, strength was everything. The strong survived, and the weak died. But somehow, a weak-looking human had defeated him completely. How? He whispered. That's what we're all trying to figure out, Dr. Zelina said. Back in the dormitories, the 4 humans were sitting together in Hannah's room. The other cadets were giving them space. Lots of space. Did you see how they looked at us after the fights? Guan asked. Like we're dangerous, Sora replied, which I guess we are. I didn't mean to hurt him so badly, Hannah said quietly. Just wanted to win. You held back, Doyan said. I could tell. You could have hit him much harder. How much harder? Juan asked. Hannah thought about it. Hard enough to kill him. But I didn't want to do that. The 3 other humans stared at her, had known Hannah was skilled, but this was different. Was scary, Hanasora said carefully. What exactly did they teach you on Earth? The same things they taught everyone, Hana replied. How to fight, how to survive, how to protect the people you care about. But not everyone can throw a 9-foot monster across a room, Jiwan said. Sure they can, Hannah said, confused. It's just physics. You use your legs, your hips, your shoulders. You hit the right spot at the right angle.
One can do it with.
Enough practice. The other humans exchanged glances. Maybe what seemed normal to them was actually incredible to the rest of the galaxy. I think, Doyen said slowly, we're about to become very popular. Or very feared. Maybe both, Sora added. Outside their room, alien cadets were gathering in the hallway. They weren't planning to attack. They were just watching, just trying to understand. What humans really were. The age of underestimating humanity was definitely over. The age of fearing them was just beginning. 3 days had passed since Hannah's fight with Korath. The news had spread beyond the academy. Ships arriving at the station brought reports that the entire galaxy was talking about the human girl who threw a Thraken warrior across a room. But not everyone was impressed. Some aliens thought it was just luck. Others believed the humans were using hidden technology. A group of senior cadets decided they needed to test the humans properly. Warthog was their leader. It was a fourth year. Virak, cadet, bigger and stronger than Torval. His scales were darker and thicker. Scars covered his arms from real battles he had fought during training missions. One small human got lucky, Vorthok said to his followers. That doesn't make all humans dangerous. But what about the other three? Asked Brutus, a massive Thraken. With silver fur, they also won their fights. They fought against first-year cadets, Vorthok replied. Weak opponents? We are senior students. We have real experience. With him stood 5 other aliens. Besides Brutus, there was Shade, a black-furred Kalani known for her speed. 2 more Virak warriors named Gorth and Krell. And finally, Vex, a Zephyrian with 4 arms and poison stingers. We will challenge them publicly, Vorthok continued. 6 against 4. If they are truly dangerous, they should be able to handle those odds. And if they lose? Shade asked. Then everyone will know that humans are nothing special, Vorthok said with a cruel smile. That evening, the 6 senior cadets found the humans in Training Bay C. It was a smaller room used for weapon practice. Hannah Guan, Sora, and Do-Yan were working out together, practicing moves that looked like a deadly dance. Humans, Vorthok called out. We challenge you to combat. The 4 humans stopped their practice and turned around. They showed no fear, which surprised the aliens. All 6 of you? Duan asked calmly. Does that frighten you? Brutus growled. No, Juan replied. Just making sure we understand the rules. Simple rules, Vorthok said. 6 against 4. No weapons. Fight until surrender or unconsciousness. The losing team leaves the academy in shame. Hannah stepped forward. She was still the smallest person in the room, but somehow she seemed to fill more space than before. We accept, she said quietly. The 6 aliens spread out in a half circle, trying to surround the humans. They had planned this carefully, used their numbers advantage, attack from multiple directions, overwhelm them quickly. But something strange happened. The 4 humans moved closer together, not farther apart. They formed a tight square with their backs almost touching. What are they doing? Shade whispered to Vorthok. I don't know, he replied. Attack. The 6 aliens charged at once. Should have been over in seconds. 6 experienced fighters against 4 newcomers instead. Something incredible happened. The humans moved like they shared one mind. When Vorthok attacked Jiwan from the front, Sora was already spinning to block Shade's attack from the side. When Brutus tried to grab Hannah, Do-Yun was there to redirect his charge into Jorth. It was like watching a machine work. Every movement was perfectly timed. Every defense created an opportunity for attack. The humans flowed around each other like water, never getting in each other's way. Vorthok threw a massive punch at Jiwan's head. Jiwan ducked and swept Vorthok's legs. As the Virak fell, Sora caught his arm and used his momentum to throw him into Krell. Both Virak warriors crashed to the ground. Brutus roared and slashed at Hannah with his claws. She stepped aside and struck him in the ribs. The blow wasn't as powerful as her strike against Korath, but it was enough to double him over. Do-Yan immediately followed up with a strike to Brutus's neck. The Thraken collapsed. Shade tried to use her speed advantage, moving faster than any human should be able to follow. Somehow, the humans knew where she was going. To intercept her before she even got there, Jiwan caught her in mid-leap and gently but firmly put her in a submission hold. Vex attacked with all 4 arms, his stingers dripping with poison. Against any other opponent, it would have been deadly. But the humans moved like they had practiced against Zephyrians for years. They avoided the stingers and struck at his joints. Within seconds, Vex was on the ground with 3 dislocated arms. The entire fight lasted less than 2 minutes. 6 senior cadets lay defeated on the floor. 4 humans stood over them, barely breathing hard. How? Vorthok gasped from where he lay. How did you know what we were going to do? We've been fighting together for years, Guan said simply. We know how each other moves. But more than that, Sora added, we know how you move. Your species are predictable. You rely on your natural advantages instead of adapting. Vyrak always charged straight forward, Doyon explained. Thrak can attack with claws and teeth. Kalani try to use speed to get behind their enemies. Zephyrians attack with multiple limbs. We all fight the same way your species has always fought, Hannah said. We fight however we need to fight. The defeated aliens slowly picked themselves up. They were bruised and confused, but not seriously injured. The humans had controlled the entire fight, using just enough force to win without causing permanent damage. This is impossible, Shade said. 6 against 4. We should have won. Numbers don't matter if you don't work together, Sora replied. You fought as 6 individuals. We fought as one unit. Word of the fight spread through the station within hours. The security cameras had recorded everything. Soon beings across the galaxy were watching the video of 4 humans defeating 6 apex predators with teamwork and precision. Admiral Kethmera of the Virak fleet received the recording at his command ship. He watched it 3 times before calling the Academy. Commander the Sol, the Admiral said when the call connected. I have just seen something very disturbing. The human combat footage, Commander Thexel asked. Why wasn't I informed that humans were this dangerous? Admiral Kethmera demanded. Our intelligence reports said they were a peaceful species with limited military capability. Our intelligence reports were wrong, Commander Vexel replied. Very wrong. How wrong? Commander Vexel looked at the latest analysis reports on his desk. Sir, I believe we have encountered a species that could threaten the entire galactic order if they chose to be hostile. There was silence on the other end of the call. Explain, Admiral Kethmera said finally. They are Deathworld survivors, sir. Evolved on a planet designed to kill them, and they survive by becoming the deadliest predators in their ecosystem. But unlike other predator species, they retained their intelligence and their ability to work together. What are you saying? I'm saying that humans are pack hunters, sir. Individual humans are dangerous enough. But working together they become something else entirely. Something we've never seen before. Admiral Kethmera was quiet for a long moment. What do you recommend? Immediate alliance negotiations, Commander, Lexel said without hesitation. We want them on our side. In the Academy dormitories, the alien cadets were having similar conversations. The humans had proven that they were not just individually powerful, but tactically superior as a team. They knew what we were going to do before we did it, Torval said to his friends. How is that possible? They study us, replied Solera, who had been watching the humans carefully. They learn our weaknesses and use them against us. That's terrifying, Grim said. They turn our own strengths into weaknesses. Meanwhile, the 4 humans sat in Hannah's room, sharing a simple meal. Do you think we went too far? Doyen asked. We held back, Hannah replied. It could have hurt them badly. The important thing is that we work together, Giwan said. That's what humans do. We protect each other. It's always, Sora agreed. Outside their door, alien cadets gathered again. But this time, they weren't watching out of curiosity. They were watching out of respect, and perhaps a little fear. The galaxy was beginning to understand what humanity really was. Not just individual fighters, but something much more dangerous. A species that had perfected the art of war through cooperation. Intelligence and absolute loyalty to each other. The age of human isolation was ending. The age of human alliance was about to begin. The Academy felt different now. When Hannah walked through the halls, conversations stopped. Alien cadets stepped aside to let her pass, not out of rudeness, but out of respect. Some even bowed their heads slightly, the way warriors acknowledged. Other warriors, it had been a week since the fight with the senior cadets. The video had reached every corner of the galaxy. Military leaders, politicians, and scientists were all asking the same question. What should they do about humans? But something unexpected was happening at the Academy. Instead of avoiding the humans, some alien cadets were approaching them. Torval was the first. The big Virak found Hannah in the library reading about different alien fighting styles. Human. Hannah, he said formally. I request to speak with you. Hannah looked up from her book. Of course, what's on your mind? Torval sat down carefully in the chair across from her, creaked under his weight. I wish to apologize for my behavior when you arrived. I judged you by your size and appearance. This was wrong. Thank you, Hannah said simply. But you don't need to apologize. You didn't know. I want to learn, Torval continued. The way you fight, the way your people work together, will you teach me? Hannah was surprised. You want me to teach you human fighting techniques? Yes, among my people, strength is everything. But you have shown me that there are different kinds of strength. I want to understand. Soon, other aliens began asking similar questions. Solara wanted to learn about human strategy. Grim asked about teamwork. Even some of the senior cadets who had been defeated came to ask for training. This is unprecedented. Instructor Kelly told Commander the Exal, I've never seen aliens so eager to learn from another species. Fear can lead to respect, the commander replied, and respect can lead to friendship. The real test came 2 months later. The Academy announced the Grand Tournament, an annual competition where mixed teams of cadets competed against each other. For the first time in Academy history, the winning team would include members from different species working together. Teams will be randomly assigned, Instructor Vexstar announced. Each team will have 6 members from at least 3 different species. The tournament will test combat skills, strategy, problem-solving, and teamwork. When the teams were announced, Hannah found herself grouped with some unexpected allies. Her team included Torval, who had been training with her for weeks, Solara, who had learned to appreciate human tactics, a granite person named Boulder, whose rock-hard skin made him nearly indestructible, a Zephyrian called Swift, who was learning to coordinate her forearms with human precision, and surprisingly, Grim the Thraken, who had once called her weak. Can we really work together? Solara asked during their first team meeting. We have to, Hannah replied. The final match is against the instructor team. Everyone went quiet. The instructor team consisted of Vexstar, Kelly, Morden, and 3 other combat specialists. They had decades of experience and had never lost a tournament. They're expecting us to fight like our individual species, Juwan said. He was on a different team but had been helping with training. It's how every team has always fought. Then we'll surprise them, Hannah said. We'll fight like humans. What does that mean? Boulder asked. His voice sounded like grinding stone. It means we adapt, Torval said. He had learned this from weeks of training. We use what works and change what doesn't. It means we protect each other, added Solara. And we never give up, Grim finished. For the next month, the team trained harder than any group in Academy history. Hannah taught them human concepts that had no translation in their languages, how to read an opponent's body language, how to use an enemy's strength against them, how to move as one unit while still using their individual abilities. Torval learned to think before charging. Solara learned to coordinate her speed with others. Boulder learned to use his defensive abilities to protect teammates. Swift learned to strike with precision instead of just speed. Grim learned to control his berserker rage and channel it strategically. The tournament began with preliminary rounds. His team dominated every match. They didn't just win. They made victory look easy. Other teams tried to copy their tactics, but it didn't work. The humans had something that couldn't be taught quickly. Years of experience fighting together. It's like they share one mind, observed Dr. Zelina, who was watching from the medical station, but they're not even the same species.
How?
Humans have a saying, Commander Vexal said. The pack that hunts together survives together. They've taught their teammates to think like humans. The final match arrived. The arena was packed with spectators from across the galaxy. Military leaders, diplomats, and scientists had come to see what the humans could really do. The instructor team entered first. 6 combat specialists, each one a master of their species. Fighting style. They looked confident and dangerous. Then Hannah's team entered. 6 young cadets who had learned to fight as one. They looked smaller than their opponents, but they moved with perfect coordination. Begin, announced the referee. The instructors attacked immediately, trying to use their experience advantage. Vexstar charged at Torval, expecting a traditional Virak battle. Instead, Torval used a human technique, redirecting the instructor's attack and throwing him off balance. Kelly tried to outmaneuver Solara with Kalani speed. But Solara had learned human patience. She waited for the perfect moment, then struck. With a combination of Kalani speed and human precision, the battle was intense. The instructors were skilled and experienced, but the cadet team had something the instructors didn't expect: perfect teamwork. When Boulder was overwhelmed by two opponents, Swift and Grim immediately moved to help him. When Solara was caught in a bad position, Torval and Hannah created a distraction. Every attack was coordinated. Every defense protected the team. Slowly, the cadet team began to win. The instructors were fighting as individuals, relying on their personal skills. The cadets were fighting as a unit, using combined tactics that multiplied their effectiveness. The final moment came when Instructor Morden, a Thraken weapons expert, faced off against Hannah. He was bigger, stronger, and more experienced. But Hannah had something he didn't: the absolute trust of her teammates. As Morden charged, Hannah didn't fight him alone. Torval provided a distraction. Solara created an opening. Boulder protected Hannah's back. Swift and Grim cut off Morden's escape routes. Hannah's strike was simple and clean. The same palm technique she had used against Korath, but this time supported by perfect teamwork. Morden went down, and the match was over. The arena erupted in cheers. For the first time in tournament history, a cadet team had defeated the instructors. Possible, Vextar said as he picked himself up from the floor. How did you coordinate so perfectly? We learned from the best teachers, Torval said, looking at Hannah. You taught us that strength isn't about individual power, Solara added. It's about what we can do together. After the tournament, everything changed. The Academy began teaching human tactics alongside traditional combat methods. Mixed-species teams became the standard. Aliens across the galaxy started requesting human military advisors. Most importantly, the Galactic Council voted unanimously to offer humanity full membership and alliance status. The humans have shown us something we forgot, Admiral Kethmera announced to the Galactic Assembly. That different species working together are stronger than any single species alone. On the Academy station, Hannah stood at an observation window, looking out at the stars. Her teammates joined her: Torval, Solara, Boulder, Swift, and Grim. They had become more than a team. They had become family. What are you thinking about? Torval asked. Hannah replied. I wonder what Earth will think when they hear that. We're not alone in the galaxy anymore. They'll probably want to make friends with everyone, Solara said. That's what humans do. Not everyone, Grim corrected. They make friends with those who deserve it. They protect those friends with everything they have. That's what makes them dangerous, Boulder added in his gravelly voice, and what makes them wonderful. Instructor Vextar appeared behind them. Cadets, you have a communication from Earth. The human government wants to speak with you. As they walked toward the communications center, Hannah smiled. Humanity was about to take its place among the stars. Not as conquerors, but as the friends everyone wanted to have and the allies everyone needed. The age of human isolation was over. The age of galactic cooperation had begun. And it all started with one small girl who taught the galaxy that strength comes not from what you can destroy, but from what you can protect.